Above in the next room. I want to know if we can make enough noise so he can hear us right now. So let's make a little bit more noise for Jinder right now. That's fantastic. That's good. I heard some cross. Shout out to bro. There it is. So everyone, I want to thank you all for coming out today. I'm going to start off with a traditional greeting from the Sikh community, which starts with Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is one of our first evenings celebrating Sikh Heritage Month and our Fireside Chats. It's an event which is bringing people from all across the Greater Toronto Area, people from all walks of life, and that's something that we celebrate in Sikh Heritage Month, because Sikh Heritage Month is about showing people from across the board that we're an open, inclusive community that really wants to create a space for dialogue and discussion and to really show and highlight the amazing talent we have in this community. So we thank Everett for coming out today. It's amazing to see so many people from different communities come out and sharing out. Round of applause for everyone. So what we have for you today is an intimate fireside chat. It's a time for you to really get close and hear the story of what was Jinder's path to amazing success and to becoming the current US WWE. The tone of the conversation, though, it's a conversation, it's a chat, it's going to be something more intimate. So we want you to be participating in that and really hearing it and really digging deep to hear his life story. We have with us one of the most amazing moderators we ever had. We have Mandeep Kaur. Round of applause for Mandeep. She has been amazing in this process and really digging deep into their stories and helping share their life and their experience with everyone here in this crowd. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Mandeep Kaur, and she's going to share with you a few more comments and then on to the show. Thank you, everyone. Happy Sikh Heritage Month.
Thank you, Brooklyn, for that very lovely introduction. I'm going to keep this short because I know you guys aren't here to hear me. But I do want to say thank you again, echoing Brooklyn's comments, for everybody that came out. This is a full house. And I had a chance to sit with Jinder earlier today, and he's an incredibly amazing human being. So just as accomplished as he is in his profession, he's so down to earth, and it's incredible, and I can't wait to share that all with you. Just a reminder, we're halfway through Sikh Heritage Month, so we've had 2 weeks of amazing events. We do have another 2 weeks of events coming up, so make sure you visit the website and get all the information so you don't miss any more events such as this. So without further ado, you guys already know this, but I'm going to give you all the information anyways. He is the 50th WWE champion. He is fresh off of his US win, which he literally just won on Sunday. And I'm pretty sure you guys are and he is your modern day Maharaja. So please help me and give a warm Brampton welcome to Jinder Mahal.
Genuinely touched by this ovation that you guys gave me. I appreciate all of you. I'm totally blown away by this.
We usually have an issue with punctuality, but I can say that I got here at 10 after 6 and this place was half full. So it just goes to show you have a lot of love out here in Brampton and Toronto, and you've been to Brampton obviously before.
Yes, of course, who hasn't? Legendary Brampton.
I think that's all you have to say. Everyone will go nuts. So obviously you're fresh off your win just this past Sunday. Everyone watched it, everyone saw that. So how do you feel? You're literally like 6 days in. You just literally won that on Sunday and it's now Friday. So tell us how that feels.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. WrestleMania, 78,000 people, and beating someone like Randy Orton, who's a legend at home. Championship. So no, life is great. Life is good. I'm excited to be here. And actually, I'm more nervous for this talk than I was for WrestleMania. I'm being honest. I'm dead serious. So no, it feels good. This championship has such a rich heritage, such a rich lineage. So many superstars have held this championship, and I'm honestly privileged and blessed to have my name among some great superstars who've all held this championship.
Thank you. So this is your life now, and I know everybody knows, everyone's been following you, but let's step back, quite a ways back, and let's talk about Jinder Mahal from the start. So let's, where were you born, where did you grow up, and a little bit about your childhood and just your upbringing.
Yeah, so I was born Yuvraj Singh Desi. I honestly had a very humble beginning. My dad is a bus driver, my mom works a regular job, so I come from just a regular family, regular upbringing, and was raised large in part by my grandpa and grandma. My parents were first-generation immigrants who moved here, for a better future for myself, so I could accomplish things like this. So they were very busy sacrificing and working. So me and my brother and my sister were given the opportunity so we could really advance our lives. And the reason that they moved here was to make our lives better, their future kids' lives better. And you know what? There's no prouder moment than after I won this championship. My parents called me, and see, I get emotional even talking about it. But my parents calling me and congratulating me, and my family all gets together. They all get together and they watch the matches and everything. So that's definitely a proud moment. I want to share a story with you guys. One of the proudest moments was when I won the WWE Championship. My passport had run out of pages, and WWE sent me to Calgary to get a new passport, just coincidentally 1 week after I had won the championship. And I got to take the championship back home with my parents, and just seeing my parents with the championship and taking some pictures with them, that was probably one of the proudest moments that I've ever had in my life.
So we know that you have a bit of a wrestling background in your family, your uncle, your Gama Singh, but you're pretty much prototypical immigrant family story growing up. So how is it that you have your university degree from University of Calgary? So when did this wrestling bug, how did you get into it? What was your inspiration? What was your motivation to get into wrestling of all things?
Yeah, as long as I can remember being a WWF at that time, WWE superstar was all I wanted to be. I grew up idolizing guys like Bret the Hitman Hart, Undertaker, and as I became a teenager, The Rock and Stone Cold, these larger-than-life superstars, they really captivated my imagination. And like I would, growing up, I had all the action figures and everything. And as long as I can remember, there's nothing else that I wanted to do with my life, and I've been very blessed and very privileged that my dreams came true, because honestly, it doesn't feel like I've grown up, like I had never, even though I am a WWE superstar and that's my job, it's my work, it feels like I don't have a job, it feels like I haven't grown up, I'm still a kid. Like, I get to travel the world and perform in front of live audiences and wrestle on TV on a weekly basis, so I've been very blessed. But yeah, just growing up being a huge fan of wrestling in general. My uncle Gama Singh was a huge inspiration to me. He was a little bit, I was a little bit young while he was in his prime. I was born in 1986, so by the time the 90s had rolled around, Stampede Wrestling had already kind of shut down. But yeah, all of my heroes were wrestlers. I had the posters on my wall and everything. And I was a very active, very athletic kid. I played volleyball, soccer. I used to amateur wrestle. And I actually started professional wrestling training when I was 15 years old. I had my very first match when I was 15 years old, which is a little bit young. Thankfully, my parents let me sign up for wrestling at a young age, but it's been a long journey. I've been dedicated since day one, and it's all I've ever wanted to do. I couldn't imagine my life without this.
So you mentioned that your parents let you obviously get in at the age of 15. So how was that? Because growing up in a typical kind of Punjabi, even South Asian family, you know, it's like Dr. Marn, become an engineer, but what was their take on this, and were they supportive about it, and how did you kind of bring that up to them?
Yeah, 100%. My parents have always supported me and always supported my dreams. Another thing that I did was I went to university, which was very important to my parents in case, because nothing is guaranteed in this business. There was no guarantees that I was going to make it. Injuries can happen, so it was very important to also get my education. So I went to the University of Calgary, and then shortly after I graduated, I got signed. I was very lucky to get signed at a young age. But no, my family was very, very lucky. But going back to when I started wrestling training, my parents were obviously very busy with work, so I used to, like in -40 weather in Calgary, I used to take the bus an hour and a half to go to wrestling practice to wrestle with grown men, and then take the bus right back and go to school the next day. You know, right after school, I'd go do my homework real quick, and then I'd be on the earliest bus to go roll around with grown men, and oftentimes, you know, get tossed around, get beat up. But it was all worth it. There was something about it that had me coming back week after week, day after day.
That's awesome. So it's good. Lesson learned. There you go. Stick to it. So we often, and I'm going to totally age myself, but I hope there's people here that are just as old as me. So I watched wrestling when it was WWF. So it was Hulk Hogan and Bret Hitman Hart and Macho Man Randy Savage and all that. But typically when we grew up, we would see, you know, not people like us wrestling. So you're definitely in an arena which is, you know, not typical of people from our community. So talk to us a little bit about your experience being that guy. And, you know, did you ever face any kind of racism, discrimination, any issues? And how did you overcome those in such a kind of environment?
Okay, here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very proud that my generation now is laying the foundation for future generations. When I was growing up, you know, there weren't many people in the athletics, in the world of athletics, you know, that I had as role models. My role models were all, you know, like guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, people with different ethnic origins, you know. But I think now the advantage that all of you guys have are the future generations. There's guys like myself, guys like Arjun Buller, who's fighting tomorrow in UFC. Who plays in the NBA as role models, so you know that's very cool. Got a little off topic. What was the question again?
Oh, that's okay. You answered me. It was just your experience with discrimination and racism.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody faces racism. You know, I've been very fortunate that like WWE is a very, very global company. You know, we have superstars from all over the world, and we tour all over the world. And ethnicity, diversity is something that we embrace. But most of the racism I faced was growing up. To tell you guys the truth, you know, having immigrant parents and just. You know, as a first generation born here in Canada, I faced a lot of racism in school, but wrestling was something that I could focus on. Before I was wrestling, it was other sports that I could focus on and turn away, you know, from all the negativity and all the racism I faced. You know, it gave me a sense of individuality, something I could really focus on, which I think is very important, especially to the youth that are here. I'm sure you guys face some of the same problems, but, you know, having a sense of individuality, being proud of who you are, is most important. So all you guys are going to face that sort of discrimination or that kind of racism. But you guys have to be true to yourself and know that you guys are very, very special. And we're very blessed. I was very blessed to be born in a Sikh family. I'm very happy. I'm very proud because you know, it gave me a sense of individuality. I felt like a sense of community. You know, we have so many members here of our community, along with different people of all different cultures, but definitely having a sense of community gave me strength.
And just before I go on, I want to just remind everybody, we do have volunteers with a little piece of paper and pencil. So if you do come up with a question that you want to ask, we will be going through them at the end for a bit of a Q&A. So if you have a question, you can put up your hand, and one of our volunteers will come and give you a paper. But just keeping in that theme, you touched on Sikhi, your sense of community, and I know recently your comments to Arjun Bulgar for fighting his desire to wear his bug in the UFC arena, which is awesome. And I know you also do that as well. So talk a little bit more about, you know, how Sikhi has helped you personally, professionally, and what it really means to you. And you again, going back to Arjun's comments, it's a great win for him. He fought it, they had said no, and now they turned it over. So what does Sikhi mean to you?
Yeah, I'm definitely very proud to represent the Bage every time that I go to the ring. But Sikhi means so much to me on a personal basis too, on a personal level. Just growing up, one of my fondest memories is going to Gurmat camp as a child and learning more about Sikhi. You know, every summer I'd be so excited to go to the Gurmat and learn so much about our religion, which is, I believe, one of the most beautiful religions that there is. You know, we're very accepting to all. We're very open, and just Sikhi has taught me so much. I also know the history of our people. You know, we're very tough. We're very resilient. Even facing death, like our people didn't change the religion. They stood by their ways. They stood in what they believed in, even in the face of death, in the face of torture. No matter what, they stayed true to their cause and true to their religion. So that sense of toughness, that sense of resiliency is something that I carried on into my professional career also, because oftentimes I was faced with many hardships. You know, people rejecting me, people saying no, or just tough losses, like bad performance. Like a lot of times I felt like quitting, guys. Like it wasn't always easy. It was actually training wrestling was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. My coach was very tough on us, but just having that sense of resiliency was that was instilled in me, just based off Sikhi and everything. You know, really helped me. And just having faith, you know, having faith in something, just like having faith in religion. Also having faith in myself that, you know, no matter how tough the road is, I'm going to make it. I'm going to succeed. I'm not going to take no for an answer. This is my goal, and I'm going to accomplish it.
I know now you moved to the States. You've been living in America for the last 8-9 years. How's that experience been for you, just as yourself, and then also as a Sikh as well? And how has that experience been?
Yeah, I love living in the States, but there's nothing like Canada. It's beautiful. I wish in the States we had events like this, like Sikh Heritage Month. I mean, I'm blown away. Imagine a whole month dedicated to not only empower our community, but also educate others about our community. I think that's one thing that is lacking in the States. That's one thing, is one of my personal goals. I want to educate people in the States what Sikhi is, what Sikhs represent, because a lot of people, they see the turban and the beard, and we all know what they're thinking, right? And unfortunately, there's been many attacks against Sikhs wrongfully. So one of my goals is to educate everybody, you know, what Sikhi is. Sikhi is its own religion, and Sikhi, if you learn about it, is one of the most interesting and open religions that there is.
And lastly on this topic, I want to wrap it up by asking you, so our theme for Sikh Heritage Month this year is Jardi Kala. So what does Jardi Kala mean for Jinder Mahal?
Jardi Kala to me is just remaining positive no matter what the circumstances, just staying in high spirits. So you guys see the championships now, US title, WWE title, but I've also had many lows in my life. In 2014, I was actually released from WWE. So imagine living your life, living your dreams, you know, being a WWE superstar, working so hard to get there, and having that taken away from you. So that was definitely tough, but the reason it got taken away from me was due to my own fault. I wasn't focused, I had lost focus. I was unmotivated, I became complacent, which is the kiss of death, especially in WWE. You know, it's such a competitive place, but it also relates to everything else in life. The second that you become lazy or unmotivated, there's someone working twice as hard as you trying to take your spot. So that's exactly what happened. So I spent 2 years away from WWE, and in those 2 years I had to really look at myself in the mirror and assess what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I had come to the crossroads whether it was still pursue this dream, try to make it back to WWE, or face real life. I was already looking into maybe starting a franchise like a Subway or something. I was already investing into real estate. But I had come to the crossroads where it was still chase the dream or do something that I didn't really want to do. But luckily I found it in me. I found my motivation. A large part of the reason why I was unfocused, unmotivated is because I can be the first to admit I was partying too much. I was unfocused. And one day I just decided no more partying. I'm back to training hard every single day. I'm back to dieting. I'm back to giving it 110% each and every day. So interesting thing is for almost 2 years, guys, I was away from WWE. WWE never contacted me. Nobody cared about me because I was unmotivated. 2 months after I became motivated, guess who called me back to come back? Vince McMahon. Not Vince, but WWE called me to come back, and guys, I don't think that's a coincidence. It was when I started caring, the universe, starts to give you things back that you put out there. I put it out in the universe that I'm going to do whatever it takes. I want to be back in WWE. I want to be a champion in WWE. So when I was released from WWE, I had many regrets. I hadn't won any championships. I feel like I hadn't accomplished anything. And honestly, I was embarrassed. Like I shouldn't have been. I had made it to the pinnacle of sports entertainment, but I was a little bit embarrassed, guys. Like, to tell you the truth, I was let down. And that's how I didn't want to be remembered. I didn't want my legacy to be 3MB or Heath Slater, right? I really needed to reinvent myself, and that's exactly what I did, guys. I got motivated. Had like a complete physical transformation, guys. I got into like the best shape possible. I became one of the most hard-body Mahal. I became one of the best conditioned athletes that there is in WWE, period. And people always talk about opportunity. They talk about opportunity. They say that I was given the opportunity. And I always correct them. I say, no, I made my own opportunity. I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And that's what I encourage each and every one of you guys to do in your personal lives. Whatever your goals are, they are attainable. I like to throw this statistic out to people just to put things into perspective of how possible it is to achieve your dreams. So I was the 50th ever WWE champion, and over 500 people have been to space. So if you would have told me as a child, I have 10 times more of a chance to go to space than I do become a WWE champion, imagine overcoming those odds. So especially to the youth that is here right now, you guys can go to space, you guys can become WWE champions, you guys can become anything else that you guys want to be in your life. Don't let anybody tell you guys elsewhere. Don't let anybody tell you guys no, that it's not possible.
So you actually touched on one of my next segue into our talk. So you talk about your transformation, that 2-year period, and you're obviously going down a certain road, but you snapped out of it. Was there like a pivotal moment or something that happened? Because for that to happen like that, is there something that happened that kind of made you make that change, or was it just something where you woke up saying, you know what, I just want better, I know I can do better? Like what helped you get that focus?
I discovered Chartikala. Honestly, that's what it was. Chartikala is just staying positive. Actually, I was speaking earlier, I was just saying, like, I cannot have negativity around me. I can only have positivity. I mean, just everyone nowadays, it's not everybody, but a large majority of people are just programmed to be just negative. And I can't have negativity around me. You cannot live an extraordinary life being negative. You have to have self-belief, right? You guys gotta believe in the cause, and my cause was I wanted to get back to WWE. I wanted to not only be a champion, my goal is much, much higher than this. My goal is to retire as one of the greatest of all time. And I'm going to keep working at that. Basically, also with finding Chakti Kala, my mind frame changed, guys. I started reading books, motivational books. I started listening to podcasts. Actually, a book that I want to recommend to all you guys is called 10X by Grant Cardone. It's a book that says, take your goal and multiply it by 10. Set goals so high that they are unattainable. But work relentlessly at achieving them, and even if you do not reach your goals, you will still end up in a good place. So that's exactly what I did. Another thing that I started to do, I started to write down my goals. And I started doing this at the beginning of 2017, except I made a huge mistake. I wrote down, become WWE champion. What I write down now is become 10-time WWE champion. But that pivotal moment was literally looking in the mirror and knowing I can live a great life or I can live an average life. And in order to live a great life, I would have to make great sacrifices. That's exactly what I did. I sacrificed the social life, everything, focused 100% on being the best that I can be personally, in the gym 100%, diet 100%, cutting the negativity out, and the results speak for themselves. So, guys, I may sound like I'm preaching, but I promise you guys, start believing in yourselves and great things will start to happen.
Awesome message. So let's talk a little bit about your fitness. So I've learned in the last 12 hours that you're pretty strict, but just take us through what your fitness regimen is, what you eat, what you clearly don't eat, because you don't eat. But yeah, you give everybody here a little bit of an idea of that.
So my fitness regime is actually very strict. Every morning that I wake up, or I try to, every morning or later on in the day, 6 days a week I do cardio. And I encourage all of you guys. You guys don't have to follow my exact regime, but I encourage each and every one of you guys to start to eat healthy and do a little bit of exercise. I know some of us are very busy working and stuff like that, but even if it's just going for a 20-minute walk a day, all of us can sacrifice 20 minutes for our own health. So first and foremost, I want to encourage you guys, eat a little bit healthier, start making healthy decisions. You don't have to take it to the extreme level, but even a little bit of change in your lives, I promise, will benefit you guys in a huge way.
What don't you eat?
I try not to eat junk food. I actually have a diet coach who tells me what to eat, and guys, I'm not even joking. I carry around a cooler bag with all my meals that I package in the start of the week, and that just helps me keep on track. I train 6 days a week. I'm in the gym for about 2 hours. I stretch every day. And also another thing that I started doing is I take good care of my body. I get weekly massage, chiropractor, I do cryotherapy, which is something that I never used to do when I was young because I want to have a long career because I have many goals that I want to accomplish. So fitness is first and foremost. And a lot of people say this too, like your rise in WWE is because you have this huge physical transformation. That is true, but the physical transformation is more than skin deep. It's more than just getting jacked. It's what it represents. It represents the hard work. It represents the discipline. It represents the motivation, which is the main thing that I used to lack. So it's more what it signifies. I can see someone who has a good physique, and I know that that person, is motivated. They're committed. They're determined. So that's where it all started, was from the physical transformation. But it also was one of my goals to improve in all aspects of my game. So every week, I want to improve, whether it's on the mic, in the ring, even doing media interviews. Like there was a time in my life where doing something like this, I'd be in the back shaking. Like this would be very difficult for me to do. But it's one of those things that I've worked on. So now, we're having what seems like a natural conversation. But this is a progression. This is what I've worked towards.
What's your cheat meal? You have to have one. Don't say you don't.
Cake.
Wait a minute, chocolate or vanilla? Both. That makes me feel better that you do have a cheat meal. but everybody get motivated. We're going to the gym tomorrow, okay? So talk to us a little bit about now, you're on stage, you're mentioning at times 80,000 people, you know, in the stands. What's that energy like? And to prepare yourself for something at that level, that massive, what do you do? What do you do to get into your mind frame?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, wrestling in front of 80,000 people is definitely something. But I also wrestled in front of 6 people, more than once, guys. So it's definitely a humbling experience. So when I get to perform in front of 80,000 people, you know, I'm honored, I'm humble. I don't take it for advantage. You know, every day in WWE, every day of my life is truly a blessing. First and foremost, I am gracious of the opportunities that I've given. You know, I say thank you to God. And one of the things that I do before every match, I say the first party 5 times, right? I stretch, warm up with bands, get my muscles nice and jacked, get the veins pumping, and the rest is history. I let the music hit, adrenaline pumps, and just guys, the feeling is indescribable. It's one of those things when you find your passion, you just go in this different mind state. Like, I can't explain it. It's like, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's like, it's an addictive feeling almost. I encourage all of you guys to find that passion in your lives. For me, it's wrestling. For Jagmeet, it's politics, right?
I think passion is important to follow that.
100%. I had said this actually earlier. I believe each and every person is extraordinary, at least at one thing. You guys just have to find that one thing you guys are extraordinary at, and work hard at it, you know, at perfecting your craft, whatever it may be, and I promise you guys will never work a day in your life.
So, this might be a tough question for you, I'm not sure, but if you weren't a wrestler, what would you be?
You know what, I've actually spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I would say I would be a firefighter. You know, not only do I get to help people, but I would get to stay fit, and I would have the same camaraderie that I have with the other wrestlers, with the other firemen, and no 2 days would be the same. So if I wasn't a wrestler, firefighter.
Who is your favorite wrestler other than yourself?
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 2 answers. So my favorite wrestler of all time is Bret the Hitman Hart. Because I'm also from Calgary, so he was like a hero to all of us, but it wasn't just that. Like when I was a child, he was often facing bigger superstars that were stronger than him, but he would always find a way to come out on top, to win championships, you know, and that's very inspiring. You know, he was a great role model because what he signified. He signified no matter what the challenge is ahead of you, it's beatable. You can, you know, you can overcome that challenge. And the second part is my favorite wrestler that I have competed against. And I'm gonna say John Cena. He's just a great superstar. No, John Cena was one of the greatest of all time. Not only what he does in the ring, but for what he does outside of the ring, and also what he does for the rest of the locker room as a mentor, as a role model, and as an ambassador for WWE. You will never hear anything bad about John Cena, I promise you guys. He's an extraordinary human being.
Awesome, thank you. For firefighter, that's good to know. I wasn't expecting you to say that, I don't know why. So talk to us a little bit about now, we know what you've accomplished up to now. What's in Jinder Mahal's future? Actually, before you answer that, why Jinder Mahal, the name?
Oh, I get asked this oftentimes.
I got asked that to ask you all week, so I need to ask.
I really wish I had a cool story, but I don't. It was a name that was given to me by, do you guys know Kali's manager, Ranjit Singh?
Yeah.
So Ranjit Singh is actually one of the head writers backstage, and he gave me the name. I think Mahal, because the average person hears Mahal and they relate it to Taj Mahal, so it's an easy association, and Jinder is just a cool name. So, but it really is a name that I've embraced. Like when I heard it first, I thought it was kind of weird, like Jinder Mahal. Couldn't they give me a cool name like The Rock or something. But, no, I'm very proud because you know that's a Sikh name. You know, Jinder is a Punjabi name, and I'm very honored to have that name and carry that tradition. And also along with me is the Singh brothers. Right? How cool is that? They get to represent the Singh. Yes. Well, I'm holding trials. Can you want to try an introduction? Sorry, what was the second part?
I was going to ask you now. So just up until now, we know what you've accomplished. Absolutely amazing career up until now. But what is in store for Jinder Mahal's future? What are your goals? What more do you want to do? Because you're still very young. Yeah, a lot of time. You're in your prime. So what else? Wrestling and non-wrestling.
Yeah, no wrestling. I have a lot of goals to accomplish. I want to hold all the championships that there are in WWE. So still the IC title, tag team titles, universal title, Grand Slam champion. You know, I need to win a Royal Rumble. No, I'm not going to say this. But more importantly, I spoke on this earlier. Growing up, I didn't have the role models. Like there was nobody that looked like me, nobody that I could relate to. I think now is a very special time with role models like myself in sports and Arjun Buller and Satnam Singh and so on and so forth. Also in arts, Superwoman, right? Or Just Rain, or Jagmeet Singh, right? What role model we have here? I'm excited to see what the next generation is going to accomplish. You know, I think I reflect on what my generation has accomplished, and this is nothing in comparison to the next generation and the next generation after that, because now we have an even playing field. My parents had to give so many sacrifices, you know, that I wanted to play hockey, I wanted to be a big defenseman in the NHL, but unfortunately my parents were busy at work and everything. But I really think our next generation, I look at the youth here, and sky is truly the limit for you guys. You know, I'm excited to see what you guys are going to accomplish. And I want to be old, and I want to meet you guys when you guys are older, and I want you guys to tell me, I'm hoping that you guys tell me, you know, that I inspired you guys, and I want you guys to tell me what you guys are doing now with your guys' lives, and that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Awesome, thank you so much. Move up here. So thank you for your time. I think it just speaks volumes that everyone's here, and he's been standing for an hour and he's been waiting for you, but it's been incredibly inspiring, it's been incredibly motivating just hearing your story, and particularly hearing about the fact that it wasn't always a smooth ride for you, that you had your ups and downs, you had your bumps along the road, you had your obstacles, but you overcame them. And you're able to focus, and you're able to channel all your energy into this kind of, you know, this great avenue, and look where it's gotten you. So I really hope everyone takes away from that message that no matter where you are in your life, what's going on, that you can always persevere, you can always overcome, and you can achieve greatness, essentially. So I really hope everyone takes away. I know I took that away personally, so this has been awesome. We're gonna, before I go on, everybody, big round of applause for our guests. So we have our audience questions here. So we're not going to let you think too much, because we want you to give your really honest answer for some of these. So some of them are serious, some of them are a little bit funny, so we'll see how it goes. So this is from Aries, age 9. Aries, are you here? Oh, hi. And his question is, if you could wrestle anyone, who would it be?
Oh, wow. Okay, first I'm going to answer, then you're going to answer, okay? So I'm going to say Undertaker.
Braun Strowman.
Yo, Nicholas. Nicholas.
All right, so next question. How excited are you for Arjun Puller's fight tomorrow, and that too on Vasaki?
Yeah, happy Vasaki to everybody. Yeah, I'm very excited. Arjun is an extraordinary individual, Olympic caliber wrestler. He's going to do great. He has a great future ahead of him, and I know he feels the same way I feel. He's all about inspiring the next generation, and I'm sure Very soon, our people will be on a very similar stage to this, talking to all of you guys, I'm sure.
So I know you touched a little bit on this, but I want to ask it because it did come from the audience. So they asked, how does it feel to be an Indian, Canadian-born U.S. champ?
Wow. Talk about diversity. I didn't even think of that. That's amazing. No, it goes to show you the journey to get there, I guess. You know, first and foremost, my parents leaving India, making the sacrifices so I could be born in Canada. Then my personal sacrifice, moving to the States, all alone. I literally went from university to getting signed by the WWE. So that's been a journey. I've shared my ups and downs to becoming the United States champion. So being here, the first thing that I can think of is all the sacrifices that it took to become an Indian, Canadian-born United States champion.
So next question is, what is your dream match against any opponent, past opponent? And this question comes from, no, sorry, it says past or present opponent. From Jasmeet, Sukhmeet, Maneet, and Gurman. I hope I got that right. I know they were little kids.
It would be to wrestle Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels, at WrestleMania. That's the dream.
Next question comes from Vilaj Dillon. He says, what advice do you have for someone who wants to be a WWE superstar in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be very tough, but it is very, very possible, and I'm living proof of that. Who's the name, Jeff?
Vilaj.
Where are you? Oh, there you are, Vilaj. Oh, nice. You want to be WWE superstar? Come up here. It's possible, man, whether you want to grow up and be a WWE superstar or anything else, you may change your mind when you grow up. Just work hard at it, okay? Give it 100%. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not possible, all right?
Last question. This is going to be the toughest to answer, so I really want you to give a lot of thought to this one. What type of paratha is your favorite? And the follow-up question is, how many do you eat?
Honestly, I don't think I've ate aloo paratha in a couple of years.
Somebody has to make that happen between today and tomorrow. I'm sure you guys can. Okay.
I might have to get married soon.
You have an invitation to his house to have all the paratha, so we can't let you leave Brampton without having a paratha. Come on.
Yo, eat at my house.
We'll see if my diet coach allows it.
That okay. Cool. So we're almost at the conclusion, but before we say goodbye, I wanted to invite Jimmy on stage to say a few words. I would do an introduction, but everybody already knows.
Listen, I don't want to take too much time. I just want you to know you've touched so many people. This turnout is an incredible turnout. It's because your stories inspired so many people. So I want you to know that you're an inspiration to all of us. You're breaking barriers. You're celebrating who you are. Being confident in the face of a lot of adversity. If you think about it, it's tough to really celebrate who you are and then to exceed and to achieve extraordinary things. So the testament that Jinder Mahal is showing us all, Yuvraj Singh is showing us all, is that believe in who you are, celebrate who you are, and you can reach the heights. So just give them a lot of love for that. We want to just celebrate and recognize that. So a small, that's right, give them love. A little token of our appreciation, there's a couple things I want to award you with. So you might have heard during our campaign, I should stand up here because you're already way taller than me, so it's awkward. So one of the things, my slogan is always about love and courage. I think your story, loving who you are and having the courage to follow your dreams, you deserve to be a recipient of my first ever Love and Courage Award. So it's the Love and Courage Award, yeah, first ever. Love and Courage Award, and signed leader of Canada's NDP. So great honor. You deserve it!
the Sikh Heritage Month Association. There's a whole bunch of beautiful things folks wanted to award you with. So let me just go through them all. So actually I'm going to give you, just present you. There's a book. I'm sure that there's something inside there. Maybe open that up there. Is it? No, maybe? No, okay. It's just a book. I thought we got it signed. It's amazing. Rupee Kaur is amazing. I thought we got it signed for you though. Okay, in the future, guys. Rupee Kaur's book. The bookstore wanted to give you the Turban Tornado. Beautiful. And this is Khawaja Singh's story by Kushwan Singh. And then we got this beautiful book here that's got all sorts of beautiful illustrations. And finally, last but not least, we've got, oh wow, we've got a very, very relevant, I think very fitting art piece by none other than Jinder Singh, Art Punjab. So we're just going to open this up here. And this is Jujal Singh by Jinder Singh, Art Punjab. All right, once again, guys, give me your love to Jinder Mahal, the modern-day Maharaja, USA champion. Make some noise!
Everyone, if you can just take 1 second to stay in your seats. We are going to have a meet and greet, and you'll all have a chance. It's a lot of people here today, so please, let's make this